Welcome to another honest yet respectful product review. Today we're going to discuss about the RollerMouse family, but in particular I'm going to review the RollerMouse Red. Contour has sent me a lot of their products, all those which you see here, plus the Red Plus with the longer wrist rest, and it's currently not there because I lent it out, but I will include it in the discussion. Welcome, I'm Olivier Girard, ergonomist, posture therapist, author of the Posture Manual, and creator of the Posture Academy. When reviewing a product, it's important to understand why it has been created. And the underlying idea behind the RollerMouse family is that, people hurt themselves when they spend long hours with the mouse that tends to run away, and they end up like this with this called shoulder abduction and shoulder flexion, which increases the neck and shoulder strain. So this is the problem that we're trying to resolve. To do that, Contour has said, okay, then we're gonna have a central pointing device that stays in place, and the cursor is gonna move thanks to a bar left to right and rolling the bar to move up and down. When I click on the bar, then it will click, but I can also do a left click, a right click, or a double click, and I can scroll with this middle wheel. Depending on the device, there are minor variations, such as the width of the bar, such as whether there's a protection for preventing collision with the keyboard or not, whether there's double click or not, etc. One function I forgot to mention, but it's also relevant, is the copy and paste. So the Red has really been designed for user friendliness, and with a ton of adjustment. You can adjust the sensitivity of the bar, the speed of the cursor, etc. It took me a long time to observe that the keyboard rest that you can see here can actually be attached to the RollerMouse Red, so that increases the stability of the whole. You see, when it's there, it stays there. Now, on the flip side, what is the kind of danger related to this device? Well, the problem is the following. The problem is that, you see, according to posture rule number 2, we have a 20-degree margin here, front back, for shoulder movement. Beyond that, we increase neck strain, and actually you'll feel, put your hand on your collarbone, you see 0-20, the collarbone doesn't move, but if you go beyond 20, the collarbone wants to shift forward. That is called rounded shoulders posture. Okay, so first issue, say, that we need to manage is that the more I push the keyboard forward, especially the Red Plus, the more when I work on my keyboard, I will tend to be in a rounded shoulders posture. This is why you see me use the Red, not the Red Plus. This rounded shoulders effect will be magnified by your posture. If you tend to lean back, which I have criticized quite a lot, my arms are by default behind me, so 0-20 brings me here. So that's not 25 degrees to reach the keyboard. It's like 60 degrees to reach the keyboard. So the more I lean backwards, the more the RollerMouse is gonna push my keyboard forward, which will be problematic if the keyboard is something that I use a lot. Second risk, you see, if you put your hand on your collarbone, you'll see that, whenever your hand is in front of your elbow, there's not much problem. But from the moment you shift your hand towards your belly button, all that is still okay. And from the moment I arrive here, then my collarbone wants to shift forward again. So what you put normally in front of your belly button is what you need to use simultaneously with the two hands. But if you want to use with one hand only, the neutral position is in front of your elbow. Here, you see that in front of my elbow are the extremities of the bar, so if I use the bar with, say, the extremity, no problem. If you tend to go too much to the left with the right hand, then you slouch, which might be a bit of the problem with the buttons here in the setup that I have, but I'm going to explain in a second why I have this setup. And the third risk is, of course, especially with the Red Plus also, whenever you have something comfortable that you can lean on, well, you will tend to, put your forearms on it, rest your weight, which increases the load on the neck, and as your forearm is blocked, well, the wrist has to do the movement, and that lateral deviation is a source of wrist pain and tennis elbow. So all these are not design flaws, they are part of the concept, but it's important that you're aware of them so that you can adjust your working style and your setup to avoid the side effects of the technology. One more remark for those who, like me, are a bit, trembling and shivering. The bar is extremely sensitive, so it has happened to me that by just going onto the bar a bit nervously, I click on it, and by mistake I do a drag and drop, and I have some appointments on my Google Calendar that have disappeared due to that. So this device is not really meant for precision work like video editing and so on. It's more meant for office work and traditional admin functions, in which case when you do the drag and drop, people will be better inspired to do left click and just drop, use the bar. So clicking on the bar and moving the bar is a bit tricky. I wouldn't do that for very precise stuff. Now, final word on why I have chosen this strange setup. What I thought is that I have a great mouse also from Contour on the right side, but sometimes I use the MX Vertical also. And my right hand is well taken care of. But what I wanted to do is increase my use of the left hand. I'm left-handed, but I always work on the right side. So I thought, what? I'm going to use the RollerMouse as a left-hand mouse, especially as the controls are slightly offset to the left. And therefore, I put the RollerMouse, you see, in front of my elbow left, as well as the buttons. I align the keyboard with the right extremity of the keyboard so that my mouse is as close as it could be on the right side. And this is how I work, I type or I work with my mouse right side, and from time to time I use my left hand for releasing the right by working with the RollerMouse. So to conclude, I would say we have here a high-tech and well thought through device. As everything which is, say, technological, technology doesn't replace your brains and your body awareness, body understanding. Therefore, it's a beautiful accessory to work with, provided that you're aware of the potential posture hazards and that you create your setup and that you adjust your posture in such a way that the nice device doesn't become an additional problem. Okay, so cut a long story short, I wouldn't be a big fan of that if you're someone who leans backwards a lot. Start by correcting your posture and be slightly in the so-called monkey posture, CF my book, point number 1. Point number 2, for those of you who have a combination of very precise tasks, CAD, video editing, photo editing, and so on, keep a traditional mouse next to it so that you can alternate depending on what you do. In which case, I would avoid that where the mouse is in front of the RollerMouse, because that would recreate the problem which the RollerMouse was meant to avoid. So really leave the mouse next to the RollerMouse, not in front of the RollerMouse.